Who here woke up this morning with this notification? Or maybe you're really trying hard to maintain a self-care routine, but with a to-do list a mile long, self-care just seems like another thing you have to do. This is your self-care intervention. Because here's the thing, self-care isn't some luxury reserved for influencers. It's the secret weapon for managing stress even when life gets hectic. What you need is a personalized self-care plan that fits your unique needs and your busy schedule. You can do this if you follow my whole you system. I've been committed to my self-care for years, and my system has carried me through time and time again. So let's get into it. The first step is to identify what you do know to manage the stress in your life. Those coping strategies that may or may not be good for your well-being. And your goals will be to decrease or eliminate at least one negative coping strategy, like spending too much money or watching too much TV, and replacing it with a more positive strategy. Ideas for more positive strategies could be spending time with family or friends, making future plans, and my favorite, rewarding yourself for accomplishments. I love a good reward. All right, so the next step is to highlight the good things you're already doing for yourself, and you're gonna see if there's an imbalance in how you practice self-care. You can't skip this step. This is important because it's going to give you a lot more ideas to help prevent stress and burnout. I would know. When I started my self-care journey, I was way too focused on the physical side of it and was neglecting other areas like my emotional and spiritual self-care. And guess what happened? I'd still feel completely stressed. You need variety, and if you want to truly care for yourself as a whole person, then you need to make a commitment to attend to all the domains of your life, including your physical and psychological health, emotional and spiritual needs, and relationships. But the only way to do that is to be sure that each domain of self-care is well represented. Yeah, there are going to be times when you have to juggle multiple responsibilities, work, family, childcare, and you just don't have enough time for yourself. But that's just a part of life. So just hop right back on Pinterest to find more ideas to try. 70% of the self-care I try don't stick, but the other 30% that do are things that become automatic and are just a regular part of my life. Remember, when you first start self-care with a focus on all the domains of your life, it may seem time-consuming.
Oh my God. I can't. I'm winded. I can't do no more. I'm not in shape like this.
But that's when you have to shift your mindset to thinking of it as mini me time. Self-care doesn't have to be elaborate, expensive, or time-consuming. Focus on small intentional moments throughout the day, and you'll be a self-care ninja in no time. Okay, I'm gonna move on to my last step, but make sure to stick around after, where I'll share 4 quick tips on how to not have starting a self-care routine feel overwhelming and daunting, so you can take care of yourself and still accomplish all you need done in a day. So my last step is to identify possible barriers or obstacles that could get in the way of implementing or maintaining these new self-care activities. I used to just come up with a list of self-care activities and leave it at that, but guess what happened? As a perfectionist, the pressure to be perfect made me feel like my self-care efforts weren't ever good enough, and I'd give up when I wasn't sticking to the plan. So I learned I need to anticipate the obstacles that get in the way of self-care, plan on addressing them, and remind myself to follow my plan. Here's what this may look like. So say you have a plan for 5 to 10 minute daily self-care practices, like, doing a 5-minute morning stretch, but you're finding that you don't seem to have enough time to do them. You can, 1, find a friend or a colleague who's also interested in self-care and check in with each other regularly for motivation and support. 2, you can celebrate your self-care successes. So after a week of consistent practice, reward yourself with a long bath or an extra hour in bed. 3, you're gonna remind yourself of the benefits of self-care. You're gonna use positive affirmations like taking care of myself makes me a better mom or partner or employee. So why will this help you stick to incorporating self-care into your day? Because you'll know exactly what to plan for. You don't have to figure out from scratch how to make a sustainable self-care routine that fits into your busy schedule. You have a template to go by because I made you one for free. So check the description and take advantage of it. If you follow these 3 steps, then in a couple of months from now, you'll feel less overwhelmed and tired, and you'll be better equipped to live your best life. Hey, you deserve it. So I did mention that I'd give you some bonus tips to increase the chances that you might actually stick with this. So here you go. Number 1, start small. Only implement 1 new self-care habit at a time. The problem with trying to implement multiple habits at once is that the attempt to change is just so overwhelming that we end up not changing any of our habits at all. Number 2, focus on your needs, not your wants, and pay attention to how you feel throughout the day. Instead of chasing trendy self-care routines that may be expensive.
They were 25,000. They're like 4 carats of diamonds, and then they're gold python, and they're made of gold. Did you know? 25,000. Gold python, 4 carats of diamonds.
Think about what your body and mind truly need. Are you exhausted? Prioritize sleep. If you're feeling stressed, try some deep breathing exercises. Number 3 is schedule it in. Treat self-care like any other important appointment. Block off time in your calendar, even if it's just 10 minutes to focus on yourself. And finally, number 4 is to repurpose your activities. Look for ways to incorporate self-care into existing activities. So take a relaxing bath while you listen to a podcast or an audiobook. And no one is allowed to bother you while you're taking your me time. You hear me?
What?
Click here if you want to learn from a real-life psychologist on what it looks like to not only do self-care, but to learn how to love yourself along the way. I'll see you soon.
Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.